And
Great.
so it's really all yours now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, okay, I will start with kind of giving you, I hope you may have mentioned that I have a Chamber of Commerce background. You know, worked at the Dayton Chamber of Commerce for a number of years and work with a lot of, the metro chambers and the local chambers and state and national. So I have the chamber network, and I know the uniqueness of what everybody's role is in sort of that pipeline. And so I'm just going to give you kind of a general overview of where things seem to be with the coronavirus, and also connect on the economy as well. Look, Ohio has been in a pretty good position because we never hit an extreme with the virus. The governor's early decision to begin to shut activities down really didn't put Ohio in a position where we ended up the same way as, say, New York and some of the East Coast cities. When we opened things back up, we did it in a little different way than what they did in other parts of the country. So we didn't have the second spike like they did in the South and in the West. We know what works. It's pretty simple. Back up, mask up, wash up, and try to keep to your small groups. It works, and it's the evidence is overwhelming. But having said that, it remains the virus remains a presence in our lives. While we have remained in the last few weeks under that sort of 5% positivity rate in our testing, which is a goal to be able to manage it. We do have some hot spots, particularly in rural parts of Ohio. And we're also in a couple of our communities with colleges and universities struggling a bit with the restart of school. Because we've one thing that's bringing people back together more than anything is K through 12 coming back together, colleges coming back together, and sports starting. And I'll tell you, it's hard to know specifically how the virus gets passed along, but I will tell you that usually it's not in the workplace, it's not in the school. It's usually what the people who are in the workplace do after work. It's what people who are in the school do outside of school that tends to be driving the cases. Whether that is people who stand 6 feet apart at work, who wear their masks, who decide that they're going to all ride in the same car and not wear masks. Doesn't really do you much good during the day to follow rules for 8 hours if for the hours after work you're not following them. And the same thing goes with schools. I know I was aware of many cases where athletic teams are getting their seasons suspended, or schools are suspending going to online, not because of the sports or what happened in school. It's because of the sleepovers and the parties and the things like that go on. So these are the things that we have to communicate and manage, that we can live with the virus in our lives. We can manage through that if we just follow the simple rules. And when we don't, we invite challenges. And so to the extent that employers, in your case, know what they need to do, they'll be better off. But it's communicating to those workers, to your workforce, it's what you do after, it's what your family members do after, the people of your household. If your group of friends is out doing whatever they want and not obeying the rules, they're less safe to you than the 10 strangers that you run into at the grocery store who have masks on. They can present more of a problem in your life. So we have to have the courage and the determination to talk to each other about these things, and to do it in a way that makes people feel protected and supported, and not condemned or criticized. And those things usually work much better. Additionally, In the economy, Ohio is doing a little bit better than the nation from an unemployment point of view. 10.2% unemployment rate nationally, 8.9% in Ohio. That's good news. We make things, from agricultural products to manufactured products, and people need those things. The sectors of the economy that are hit the hardest are travel, tourism, lodging, things of that nature. Those places that do a lot of that are going to have a hard time recovering quickly, and those segments of the Ohio economy that face those challenges are also going to have challenges of overcoming those quickly. But we hope that the legislature is going to pass the immunity bill as it relates to liability on COVID cases, so long as an employer follows the rules of doing this. They would be protected from liability. That's not just a small business issue, that's a schools issue. Everybody has an interest in doing things right, and also having liability protection so that they can go back to work and begin to help serve their customers and grow the economy and help give people jobs. Those are all important factors. The governor and I will be doing a 2 p.m. news conference today. I'll have some announcements on broadband. He's going to talk a lot about schools and the like. So we're trying to live with this virus in our lives, and we can do it. The therapeutics are getting better. People are living, even if they get the virus. We know our risk profiles. We're doing a much better job on all those fronts as well. So with that, I wish you all success. I know you have difficult jobs during this environment, with businesses struggling and you trying to do your best to represent them, and also keep your membership up there. And so we thank you for what you're doing, and happy to answer questions or have a conversation, hear your thoughts. Thanks.
Katie, are you going to ask him the questions we sent?
Hi, Janet. Yes, this is Katie. It was my understanding that David was going to moderate the questions, but I'd be happy to give those over and let the Lieutenant Governor answer some of their top questions. The first question that was proposed, Lieutenant Governor, was that Ohio seems to be in a leadership position with respect to our response to COVID-19, and we expect to battle continuing outbreaks. However, the severity and mortality rates seem to have decreased or have become more manageable with experience. What is the current outlook on Ohio will forge ahead? Specifically, how closely does the government take the impact to business and its decision-making capacity with respect to COVID-19?
Oh, well, we know that everything's a balance. You can't, we said this all along, that there is a balance between protecting people's lives and livelihoods, and we've learned a lot along the way. And so we're doing a better job, frankly, at finding that balance. Most everything is open, albeit with safety precautions. There are a few, anything that involves large gatherings, those are still not a very safe thing to do, particularly if you're inside. Outside is so much safer than inside as it relates to the virus. Warm weather is better than cooler weather as it relates to the virus and the spread. You see it sometimes in these, in food processing places where the coolness sort of is like a little bit like winter or cold and flu season, and you see the virus spreading more aggressively in those settings. So, we're learning all these things, but we get that there has to be a balance between what you do to protect people from the virus and what you do to protect their businesses and their livelihoods. And I don't. Every single day we try to get better at it. There's no doubt that it's a challenge. Particularly for, you look at issues like bars and restaurants. I talk with the Restaurant Association somewhat frequently. usually once a week. They don't want restrictions that allow them to be open, but at the same time, if you don't control the virus, people don't go out, and you see a direct connection to that. And so it's finding that right balance. And we try to talk with businesses, all the time. And talking to the business community, there's no consensus many times, even within the business community, about what the right approach is. And so we do our best to listen to diversity of voices and find that balance.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And then I think we have time for maybe one more question. This question also came through, and it is, what is our end game? Is it the vaccine, or is it after the election? What is our next step as we move forward?
Well, a lot of those things we don't have control over. We take the reality that we face. Let's face it, we've been at this 6 or 7 months now. There's no reason to believe that things will dramatically change over the next 6 or 7 months. And frankly, for Ohioans, the threat probably gets tougher because of the fact that the weather's going to be cooler. It's natural cold and flu season on its way. We'll be spending more time inside. The pressure on controlling the virus gets tougher, not easier. There's no, everybody has a different feel on the vaccine conversation. I spoke with somebody that I know and trust on this the other day that I thought would give me a good perspective, runs a biotech company. And he said, that his opinion, a vaccine won't be widely available until next summer. And his opinion was that for the most vulnerable populations, it probably won't create the immunity for elderly folks, for example, that you would want it to have. Vaccine would be great, but I don't know, when it will be coming, and I don't think we can plan on knowing that answer. What he was bold on was therapeutics, that finding new ways to prevent the virus from being lethal. And we've made a lot of progress on that. The death rates have come down. Knowing your exposure vulnerabilities is your risk profile is extremely important. So I think that that has a more near-term hope, whereas a vaccine is a longer-term hope. But for us, as we think about this, we have to get more testing. We have to manage the virus so that it's not spreading. And if you keep the level of the virus spread down, that has an overall impact to be able people to go back to work and feel more confident and go out and shop and do the things that people need to do. So those are the realities we face. I will keep saying this. We have to learn to live with the virus in our lives and to do it better each day. That should be our goal. This isn't going anywhere in the near term. We're going to have to continue to manage both things, our lives and our livelihoods. And I know that that's what we're focused on. That's what I'm sure many of you are focused on, and we need to keep it going. Things have gone pretty well in Ohio. We can continue to make them better.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And
My limit here in terms of time, I got to go get on another call with the governor, and appreciate the work you all do.
Thank you, Governor, so much for doing that, and Lieutenant Governor, I should say. And Katie, thank you for working with David and Janet to make this happen. We're really pleased you could take the time. We know it's a crazy time right now, so I appreciate everything. And for those of you, anything in the comments, please, you can download those in the chat. And hopefully we'll see everybody tomorrow at noon on Zoom as well. So thanks everybody for being part of this. Our hashtag is It Takes a Chamber. So if you do any posting about today or anything this week, please use that hashtag. It Takes a Chamber, and we're trying to use a capital C. So anyway, so thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you. Bye-bye.